Just ahead on CTV News.
A first-of-its-kind facility opens up in the county. I'm Katara Jones in Clinton. I will tell you all about it coming up on CTV News.
Plus, grab a scoop with the police chief. And new police recruits cross the stage at graduation. Those stories and more, CTV News starts now.
Happy Monday. You're watching CTV News. It's July 29th, and I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, President Joe Biden is backing major Supreme Court reforms in an op-ed published today by the Washington Post. Biden said he's calling for term limits for justice, a binding code of conduct and ethic rules, and for a constitutional amendment to strip presidents of immunity from prosecution. This comes as the highest court in the land has been caught up in controversies involving Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito and decisions by the conservative majority on issues like abortion rights and affirmative action.
People are not trusting the court the way they always used to. It used to be that the court was seen as the sort of unimpeachable part of our three-tiered system. You know, people really trusted the courts, even if they had questions about corruption in the executive branch or in the congressional branch. And the fact that now most Americans actually think the court too is corrupt is a huge problem. What that means is that it's incumbent upon Congress to move legislation to make changes to how the court operates.
It makes sense for the highest court in the land to have a binding code of ethics to ensure that Americans have full faith and confidence that the highest court in the land is making decisions based in the public interest and based on the Constitution, rather than the supporting ends that some of the justices, billionaire and millionaire donors might be wanting.
Now, Biden's proposals appear to have little chance of being passed by a closely divided Congress, with House Speaker Mike Johnson saying it's dead on arrival. Last week, Justice Elena Kagan became the first member of the court to call for a stronger code of ethics. Meanwhile, in a post on X, former Governor Larry Hogan says President Joe Biden should be commended after stepping out of the race for president. Hogan, who won Maryland's 2024 GOP Senate primary, also wrote, quote, "I respect President Biden for his decades of public service. I believe he made the right decision for his family and the country." And Democrats in Maryland are hoping the rush of energy generated by the Kamala Harris campaign rubs off on down-ballot races. One of those looking to tap into that energy is U.S. Senate candidate Angela Alsobrooks, who is facing former Governor Larry Hogan. Now, Democrats are already excited about Alsobrooks' ticket, but many say replacing Joe Biden with Harris is giving the party new life. Maryland Democratic Party Chair Ken Ullman says the base is about as energized as he's ever seen it. Officials are also hoping that excitement gets more people out to the polls, and Republican Party officials tell the Baltimore Banner that the race between Alsobrooks and Hogan will probably be closer now that Biden is no longer at the top of the national ticket. Well, a new survey shows that Wes Moore is one of the nation's most popular governors. According to a poll released by Morning Consult Pro, Moore's 65% approval rating makes him America's third most popular governor. Now, Moore ranked just behind Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who has a 67% approval rating in his state, and Vermont Governor Phil Scott, who has an 81% approval rating. And public policy expert Roger Hartley of the University of Baltimore credits that in part to Moore's personal style. His predecessor, Larry Hogan, who is running for a Senate seat, left office with a 77% approval rating. Well, after 4 years of planning, the county is taking a new step in addressing behavioral health concerns of its residents. CTV's Katara Jones is at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of the new state-of-the-art Dyer Care Center.
That's right. I'm inside what the county is calling its Dyer Care Center here in Clinton. Now, the facility is a behavioral health crisis stabilization center, and it's the first ever of its kind in the county. The center will provide crisis care to all residents 7 days a week.
This center will provide access to mental health services for all, accepting walk-ins, police drop-offs, and ambulance drop-offs. The center works much like an emergency room for people experiencing a mental health crisis.
What we have inside is when you go in, you go through these sally ports, they do that triage and intake to make sure you're okay, get you settled, de-escalate a little bit. Then you go into this beautiful open airspace with 16 chairs, recliners, so you can relax. So it's a very warm, welcoming, family type environment.
The center is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to ensure that no one is ever alone in crisis, and they can reach services regardless of the time or day.
They get a treatment plan, a discharge plan, and then they're going to be able to be navigated back to home or to a further facility if they need to. So before they leave here, they'll get all of those services without even going to the emergency room.
Officials say another benefit of the Dire Care Center is that it will help with reducing wait times in hospitals. Katara Jones, CTV News.
All right, Katara, thanks so much. And the Dire Care Center is in partnership with the County State Recovery Innovations International and Totally Linking Care in Maryland. Officials say the facility will operate under the nationally recognized Crisis Now model. And under that model, residents experiencing a crisis in the county can call 988. Someone can go directly to the Dire Care Center, or a mobile response team can come to them. Well, a fire destroyed a barn yesterday afternoon and spread to a one-family home in Brandywine. Around 3:45 Sunday, firefighters were dispatched to the scene on Crane Highway. As you can see from the video on the screen, there's damage to the home on the left. However, we see the barn that's completely demolished and only the frame survived. Fortunately, no injuries were reported and the cause of the fire is still unknown. Well, in District Heights, they're welcoming a new vice mayor. Josie Gomez is a Prince George's County native and will be serving in this role for the 2025 fiscal year. She has taken part in the establishment of the District Heights Sustainability Committee and the development of the roads and sidewalk paving plan and other community projects. Now, Gomez serves as the commissioner for Ward 2 and on the Climate Change Action Plan Committee for the PGCTV board. She says she's looking forward to creating a safer, more inclusive, and vibrant community. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, a local police department is expanding mental health services. We'll bring you those details when we come back.
We hear the stories of people forced to abandon their home. The stories of people whose dreams have been swept away, or their lives left hanging by a thread. Or whose worlds have been blasted apart. Although the stories repeat themselves, each person's experience is unique as they are. And whether it's care or community that people need, we're here to help them live a new chapter, to embrace what makes them unique, be a lifeline to the most vulnerable.
Out! Out! Everybody out! Come on!
Good job. Under 2 minutes.
Keep your loved ones safe from home fires. Practice a 2-minute drill until it's part of your routine. And test your smoke alarms monthly.
In America, millions of families are facing hunger.
After rent and power, I can get groceries. It's sad to say food comes last. Anna from Texas. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Maryland is counting on private child care providers to take part as the state expands its pre-K program, but many providers don't plan on being involved. A recent survey done by the local news network shows more than a third of the 256 respondents said they were unsure whether they will participate in the pre-K expansion, but nearly 40% said they would not participate. Now, the pre-K expansion plan under the Blueprint for Maryland's Future would expand pre-K enrollment to all 4-year-olds and all lower-income 3-year-olds. Well, Maryland farmers are taking a beating from this summer's relentless heat and drought conditions. According to the Interstate Commission on the Potomac River Basin, the weather is affecting crops and livestock across the region. Now, chicken farmers in Maryland are reporting that egg production is down as much as 30%. And Bob Chase of Chase's Production in Davidson says he typically loses thousands of dollars worth of crops a year, but this year he says he's lost at least 25 times that amount. And officials say the condition would mean fewer options and higher prices at farmers markets and grocery stores. Now, the Hyattsville Police Department is expanding its mental health program to offer free family wellness sessions. Eligible family members include officers, significant others, and any parental figure who might have partly raised an officer and child who meet parental approval guidelines. Now, we sat down with Chief Gerard Towers to tell us more about the impact of the program.
We've made a commitment here in Hyattsville to mental health and making sure our officers are prepared to serve. We believe that officers that are holistically supported in terms of their mental health at home are also better prepared to serve here in Hyattsville. So we've added family members so that they can be supported and better support our officers so that they're better prepared to serve.
And HPD launched the Mental Wellness Check-In Initiative back in 2021. Well, the Prince George's County Police Department held their Get the Scoop with the Chief event earlier today. The event was held at the Suitland Community Center. Now, community members got the chance to enjoy a sweet treat that was actually handed out by Chief Aziz in the ice cream truck.
And this is about community engagement. We're just out here it's a hot summer day. We're passing our little ice cream to the kids, showing them we appreciate them. This is the only time they shouldn't see us is when something bad happens. They should see us when something good is happening. And we're giving out good cold ice cream on a hot summer day because that's what we believe in, our young people. It's all about our young people in Prince George's County. So a little ice cream will do on a hot day once you have some.
And this event and others like it are geared to boosting community relations with law enforcement. Well, coming up on CTV News, home prices are on the rise. We'll tell you what you need to know before submitting a down payment. Stay with us.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say so that they are safe.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting. A why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
A new report tracked by the National Association of Realtors says U.S. home prices hit a record high as sales fell. Now, existing home sales fell 5.4% from May to June as the median sales price climbed to the highest price ever recorded for the second consecutive month. All four major U.S. regions posted sales declines as well. And 34 new recruits have graduated from the Prince George's County Police Department's Police Training Academy this week. 18 will be joining PGPD, and the other 16 will join partnering ranks within the county.
Could have went anywhere. You could have had any job. You could have chose any profession. And you showed up here in Prince George's County, or you grew up here, you were reared here. You got here as fast as you could, and you chose to work in law enforcement in Prince George's County.
The graduation took place Friday at the Tree of Life Ministries, and congratulations to all the new recruits. Well, listen to this. A Busboys and Poets could soon be coming to student housing at Bowie State University. According to an article posted by the Washington Business Journal, a rendering of a new Bowie State University mixed-use building dubbed the Gateway and is slated to go at the intersection of Laurel, Bowie, and Jericho Park Roads. There are currently about 8 Busboys and Poets locations in the DMV region. Well, Montgomery County and Metro have announced that they're looking for a developer to create a new science-anchored transit hub complete with a life sciences center, housing, office, retail, and public space. Local, federal, and state officials gathered at the North Bethesda Metro station this afternoon for the announcement, and Montgomery County and Metro have signed a memorandum of understanding outlining the partnership. Now, plans include development of 14 acres of land around the rail station, and the Life Sciences Center will include facilities for medical and bio research.
Brings all the pieces together. We have the opportunity to build a science center that integrates into an area with rich services, housing, and a potential for growth unrivaled by any other station. We have the University of Maryland and the placemaking here with Pike and Rose that they've already done. That's so much more that's going to be added to this partnership between the county and WMATA.
We're talking about a biocenter, the deal with AI in the future as part of a transit-related funding. That's exciting. That's jobs. That's our future. We recognize that. We also recognize that we're going to be dealing with a transportation hub here. It's not just going to be rapid rail. You're going to have your bus transit rail here, systems here. You're going to have pedestrians. It's going to be friendlier. It's going to be safer with the entry levels. So you're going to deal with safety, you're going to deal with environmental issues, you're going to deal with transportation issues, you're going to deal with economic development.
Well, congressional leaders have secured $5 million in funding for the project. And coming up on CTV News, Simon Buggs is here with our Monday Sports page, and he's shining a light on some of our DMV All-Stars. You don't want to miss it.
What's up, everyone? Hope you had a good weekend. Don't move because I've got an absolutely packed sports page for you as I highlight some local athletes that made some noise in their respective sports. I'm telling you, you're going to want to see this.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change because it just can't be us.
All right, sports fans, get excited because it's time for your favorite segment, your Monday Sports Page. Beginning with some news from the world of swimming, Arlington, Virginia native Tori Husk was in action over the weekend as she competed in the 100-meter butterfly in the Olympics, and she showed up and showed out as she captured the gold medal. Husk's victory came as a surprise as she was in third place through the majority of the race, behind fellow American Gretchen Walsh and China's Zhang Yufei. But within the last couple of meters, Husk was able to take the lead and ultimately win the race, completing it in 55.5 5.9 seconds. Walsh also finished well in the race as she'll be taking home the silver medal. Congratulations, ladies. Meanwhile, another DMV athlete made headlines over the weekend also, as Upper Marlboro native Jameer Young will be signing a training camp deal with the Denver Nuggets. The University of Maryland product averaged 9 points, 3 boards, and 3 assists in 5 games for the Nuggets Summer League team. Young is coming off a very good season for the Terps, putting up 20 points, 5 boards, and 4 dimes a night on his way to earning all Big Ten honors. Now to the NFL, my Washington Commanders have brought in a lot of talent this offseason to try and get back to being a more competitive team in the NFC. Whether it be on the D-line, the secondary, or the O-line, the players Washington brought in could play a crucial role to them getting back to the postseason. And center Tyler Biadasz, who's in his first year in Washington, talked about what it's been like trying to establish that chemistry with his new teammates.
It's on the field, but it's also off the field too. I mean, we're in the meeting rooms a lot longer than probably we're on the field. So I mean, a lot of the stuff, it's a communication. We talk about it. We walk through it. We write notes about it. We were sitting next to each other like 6 inches apart. We're always talking and everything in the meeting room. And when we go out here, there's a certain level of standard of what we need to do and whatever that needs to be done to make that a better double team block or pass pro set or working on a cadence variation or a hard count, whatever the case may be but that needs to be in the classroom and on the field, and has to be held to a standard. But yeah, it definitely takes time, and that's what's camp for, and then the preseason is for, and it's to build that foundation, that discipline, and that drive, and that focus and attention to detail like I talked about before.
Moving on to more football news, former Bowie State defensive lineman and Baltimore native Joshua Pryor has signed with the Birmingham Stallions of the United Football League. Pryor suited up for the Bulldogs for 4 years and definitely left his mark. He helped lead the team to 3 straight CIAA championships and was a CIAA Defensive Player of the Year and holds the record for the most career sacks in the program's history with 32. Moving on to the major leagues, the Baltimore Orioles made some moves over the weekend as they have acquired pitcher Zach Eflin from the Tampa Bay Rays in exchange for infielder Mac Horvath, right-handed pitcher Jackson Baumeister, and outfielder Matthew Etzel. Over a 9-year career, Eflin has a 4.26 ERA and finished top 10 in the Cy Young Award voting last season. The right-hander also adds postseason experience to the Birds as he was a pitcher on the Phillies team that made a run to the World Series 2 seasons back. And that wraps up your Monday Sports Page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Before we go, let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. We have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight, so make sure you have your umbrella handy. And Tuesday, that chance of rain increased to 40%. We're looking at a high of 86. Wednesday, still expect light rain, but it will reach a high of 94 and a low of 74. Thursday is going to be nice and hot out with a high of 96. And finally, a look at our community calendar. This Wednesday, the Bowie Police Department is hosting an open house recruiting dinner. The dinner will be a great opportunity for experienced law enforcement to meet with Chief Dwayne Preston and members of the command staff to discuss employment opportunities. This event takes place at the Bowie Police Department at 5 p.m. But for more information, contact 240-544-5700. And that's all the time we have on CTV News. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.